All right, we have more changes unfolding over in the swamp of Washington, D.C. Changes that have a real, genuine, silent coup taking place in front of all of us after the worst presidential debate performance in modern political history. The leader of the free world is imploding in front of our eyes, and there are moves taking place right now by high-ranking Democrats and party operatives to force out their selected candidate, the selected candidate of their party. This is not at all what it appears to be, but before we get started, thank you for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps out the channel, and consider subscribing so you don't miss these regular updates. So, in July 1972, in the heat of the presidential election, the election that saw Richard Nixon win in a landslide, something transpired 4 months before. Something that has eerie similarities to what we're witnessing today. In July of that year, the same month that we're in now, Nixon's competitor, Senator George McGovern of South Dakota, the Democratic presidential nominee, ran into a problem. The press got a hold of a tip that McGovern's running mate, his VP at the time, Thomas Eagleton, had a history of depression and that he was hospitalized multiple times in the preceding years. Well, one thing led to another, and within a few weeks, McGovern gave his VP the axe, replaced his vice president in the heat of the race. In July, folks, well, 4 months after that, Nixon swept McGovern in a landslide, winning every single state with the exception of Massachusetts. So the precedent, the closest precedent that we have to what's unfolding right now, tells us that the last thing Dems should want to do is force Biden off the ticket. So then, what the hell is happening here? Well, after 4 years, right, of watching the media pretend there's nothing wrong, that Joe's mentally up for the job, they decide to flip on a dime. Why? I watched that debate, and there was nothing different about debate Biden from everyday Biden. After 4 years with the establishment media pretending, covering for the White House and the president's condition, they flipped to actually doing their job suddenly. Watch what happened, for example, at the White House press briefing yesterday. Watch what happens when Karine Jean-Pierre actually has to deal with a real press corps for a change. Watch this.
Could you state, like, very clearly, yes or no, was that expert here to participate in anything surrounding the care of the President of the United States?
So let me just say a couple of things. We have had a comprehensive, and I just want to take another step back, comprehensive physical examination. The president has had that. We've given a comprehensive report. Wait. Hold on. Wait a second.
Eight times, or at least once.
There's no reason to go back and forth and be in this aggressive way.
Miffed around here about how information's been shared with the press corps about him.
We certainly could clear this all up just by saying what he was doing here and if it was connected to the president, yes or no?
I am not going to confirm.
Why don't you have a cognitive test just to rule out that there are any issues?
The neurologists have said it is not warranted. The president himself, he said it today, he said it multiple times. I just want to take a step back for a second. Sometimes I don't have the information, and I will always admit that. But I do take offense to what was just happening at the beginning of this briefing. It's not okay.
And the crazy part is that regular Democrats, right, party line Democrats, normal people I'm talking about, are genuinely shocked by all of this. They've never heard anything like this before in the last 4 years. The millions of people who get their news from the Times and the Washington Post, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, to those people, this bait and switch is working. They're buying the party line that this is a White House cover-up, that the media had no idea it was happening, that they're just as surprised as their viewers. That's what they're trying to sell you. These reporters pretending they had no clue. And even though we knew they've been lying to us, we now have proof. ABC News anchor George Stephanopoulos was just caught on hidden camera yesterday admitting as much. Watch this.
Hey, Susan, hey, how you doing? What do you think? Do you think Biden should step down? You talk to him more than anybody else have lately, and you can be honest. You don't think he can serve 4 more years? All right, that's an answer.
It's why that clip from yesterday's press briefing is so interesting. It plants the seed of a cover-up. It was the hook They leaked about the Parkinson's doctor visiting the resident wing of the White House 8 times recently. Look, Joe has to either withdraw from the race and keep his grace or be forced out. And right now, the first trap was just laid with those leaked White House visitor logs. Now, we're going to get to the latest in a minute. The meetings that are taking place behind closed doors right now is we're up to 11 dems in Congress and the Senate who are now publicly calling for Joe Biden to step down. Privately, it's all of them almost. But first, let's just point out how ridiculous all of this is. Think about what we're seeing. The Democratic Party, with the help of their partners in crime in the media, are trying to force Biden out of the race. The Democrats, chosen candidate, mind you, the presumptive nominee, an incumbent president. Think about that. It's the worst part of all this. The voters already spoke. The voters chose Joe Biden as their nominee. And of course, the party who, on one hand, is running on saving our democracy, is on the other usurping it. The will of the people, saying the hell with the primary election, the hell with the 14 million votes cast for Joe Biden. As party leaders, we know better, and they're doing it all under false pretense, because here's the dirty little secret. All of this has been in the works for more than a year. This has been the plan all along, that sometime between Super Tuesday and the November election, the president would step down due to health reasons, not naming his successor when he does it, but instead leaving it in the hands of the DNC, the Democratic National Committee, to select the replacement candidate. And how do we know this? Well, besides it being obvious that Joe can't survive most likely another 4 years, JP Morgan, one of the top investment banks in the world, sent a personal note out to its clients on New Year's of 2024 titled this, quote, "Top 10 surprise shocks that will hit U.S. markets in 2024. Number 3 on their list, and this was like a personal note to their top clients. The third item out of the 10 was what we are watching unfold right now. Quote, President Biden withdraws from the November election. President Biden withdraws sometime between Super Tuesday and the November election, citing health reasons. Biden passes the torch to a replacement candidate named by the Democratic National Committee, unquote. Follow the money, folks, and you'll always find the truth. That includes the last few days, which haven't been kind to Joe Biden. Right now, the knives are out. This is death by 1,000 cuts. But the cut that bled him out was the largest Democrat donors pulling their checkbooks, banding together to agree they won't make any further donations until Biden withdraws from the race. That's the death blow. So where are we right now? Well, at the time of filming this video, there's 6 House Dems publicly calling for Biden to withdraw and 3 Senate Democrats. Now, the senators are the ones who actually matter. This number is going to start to grow. All it takes is one Hakeem Jeffries or Chuck Schumer now to go on record publicly, and all the dominoes fall. We have the editor at large of the Wall Street Journal calling for Biden to go. Jerry Baker, he wrote this, quote, "We've been gaslit and deceived for years, all in the name of democracy. That deceit collapsed with the presidential debate Thursday." He goes on to write this, "Until the world saw the truth against the misinformation, the fiction of Mr. Biden's competence suggests they, the Democrats, evidently thought they could get away with promoting it. Yet by perpetuating that fiction, they were also revealing their contempt for the voters and for democracy itself," unquote. Then Seymour Hersh, well-respected investigative journalist, wrote this, quote, "The reality behind all this, as I've been told for months, is that Biden is simply no longer there. In terms of understanding the contradictions of the policies he and his foreign policy advisors have been carrying out," unquote. Even Politico's jumped ship, writing this, "It's the same people. He has not changed those people for 40 years. The number of people who have access to the president has gotten smaller and smaller and smaller. They've been digging deeper into the bunker for months now. And the strategist said, the more you get into the bunker, the less you listen to anyone." Look, something's happened. The plan has been set into motion. Something in the system just broke, which means chaos will follow. And the smartest political operatives, they're all taught in the midst of chaos, there's also opportunity. Now, what'll rise from all that chaos may very well be much worse than Joe Biden. All right, that wraps up this episode. Like, subscribe. We'll see you next time.